computer science major, a professional developer, or even an intermediate level hobbyist, you've probably asked yourself which operating system is best for software development. Hi, my name is Dustin Goodpaster, and this is my usability study comparing Windows 11 with Ubuntu 24.04. In this presentation, I'll walk you through what I found in my study and highlight a few things which you may want to consider before choosing your development environment. First, we'll start off with methodology. I used a custom-built PC with Windows 11 and Ubuntu 24.04 running in a dual boot installation. I tested each operating system starting from a clean install, applying minimal updates before performing the tests. My study included 10 tasks which are commonly performed by programmers, such as installing the operating system, setting up a compiler and an IDE, syncing a project to GitHub, and performing some cross-platform development tasks. The metric I used was a Likert scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being very difficult and 5 being very easy. The categories I chose to evaluate each task are ease of use, efficiency, error handling, tool availability, and overall satisfaction. Here are a few brief examples of tasks I evaluated. First was installing the operating system. What I found was Ubuntu was significantly easier to install without issues, while Windows crashed multiple times during the installation and required some debugging, such as unplugging different hard drives to correct issues with conflicting boot records. Here's a screenshot of the Ubuntu install process and Windows 11 installation process. Next, we evaluated setting up a C++ compiler. For this, I chose CLang, which is available on Windows and Ubuntu. For Ubuntu, and installed using just the command sudo apt install clang, and so it installed right away and everything ran properly from the start, while Windows required me to download and install LLVM and manually add CLang to the system path in order for it to properly run. Here are some screenshots showing Ubuntu and Windows both running CLang properly. For task 6, I installed Git on each operating system and compared how difficult it was to sync a project remotely. Surprisingly, Windows had the edge here. It handled SSH more seamlessly, automatically through the browser, while Ubuntu required a manual setup. SSH is an encryption protocol used to securely send files to and from services like GitHub. For task 10, I evaluated some cross-platform development, packaging a project in each operating system to be sent to the other using GitHub as an intermediary, then compiling the software on the opposing operating system. This task was roughly the same on each operating system, and here it is reflected in the Likert scale scores. Here we have a quick look at the total scores between the two operating systems for all 10 tasks. Ubuntu generally performed better for installation and system level tools, while Windows had more access to things such as game development SDKs and better support for things like GitHub integration. In the end, both platforms offer strengths in different areas, with my personal preference leaning towards Ubuntu. If you're primarily focused on open source development and fast setup, Ubuntu is an excellent choice, but if your main focus is on game development and a somewhat more streamlined version control, Windows certainly has its advantages. Ultimately, it comes down to what your goals are as a software developer, but having tested both, I'd recommend Ubuntu for learning and general purpose development. Thanks for watching. I hope this usability comparison has given you a clearer picture of how your experience as a software developer might differ across these two platforms. Thanks.